In Washington, a new policy announcement is making waves in both the healthcare and business worlds. The White House has introduced a direct-to-consumer platform for prescription medications, known as TrumpRx. This platform is intended to give Americans a way to purchase certain drugs directly at prices negotiated by the federal government, without going through traditional insurance channels. The idea itself is simple, but its potential effects are complex. And that's what makes this story worth exploring in depth. Here is where things become especially intriguing. Pfizer, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, has agreed to participate in the launch. According to official statements, Pfizer will make several of its widely used medicines available through TrumpRx, and these products could be offered at discounts that, in some cases, reach as high as 85%. On average, the company says patients could see about a 50% reduction compared to normal retail prices. That figure immediately raises questions. How many people will actually qualify? How many drugs will be included? And how long will those discounts last? These are the gaps in information that keep both analysts and everyday viewers wondering. Pfizer's agreement with the administration doesn't end with just the website. In addition to the consumer discounts, the company has also committed to offering Medicaid what is called a most favored nation price. In practice, this means that Medicaid would gain access to some of the lowest prices Pfizer offers anywhere in the United States. In return, Pfizer gains a grace period protecting it from certain tariff measures, provided that it invests heavily in domestic manufacturing. According to statements, the company has already pledged around $70 billion toward US-based research and production. That investment is framed not just as a benefit for Pfizer, but also as a way to secure American jobs and strengthen domestic pharmaceutical capacity. If we pause here, it becomes clear that this is not just a story about cheaper medicine. It's also about negotiation, leverage, and the use of federal power in shaping markets. The administration emphasized that American consumers have long been paying higher drug prices compared to other nations, effectively subsidizing research and development worldwide. This announcement is positioned as a turning point. Whether it truly becomes one is still uncertain. And that uncertainty is what keeps viewers engaged, because we all want to know if promises of lower prices will translate into reality at the pharmacy counter. At this point, let me pause and ask you to subscribe if you want to keep following developments like this one. These stories are still unfolding, and by subscribing, you'll always stay updated as new details come out. Now, returning to the deal. One of the most intriguing aspects is the potential ripple effect. If Pfizer, a leading player, is willing to join, then other pharmaceutical companies may follow. The administration has already mentioned negotiations with companies like Eli Lilly, suggesting that a broader coalition of manufacturers may soon step into similar agreements. If more companies join, the program could expand to cover a much wider range of treatments. That creates a sense of anticipation. How far will this initiative actually go? And how quickly? Still, there are unanswered questions. Most Americans already access medication through private insurance, Medicare, or Medicaid. So how exactly will TrumpRx fit into that picture? Will it serve mainly those without strong insurance coverage? Or will it create competition that pushes insurers to adjust prices? At this stage, those details remain unclear. And that lack of clarity is part of what sustains public curiosity. Everyone is waiting to see how this program will be implemented in practical terms. Market reactions also highlight the perceived importance of the announcement. Shares in Pfizer rose over 6% on the day the news was released, signaling investor optimism that the deal could strengthen the company's long-term position, even as it commits to lowering certain prices. Analysts noted that some of Pfizer's investment spending may already have been planned, but tying it to this announcement helps align the company's public image with the administration's goals. There's also the backdrop of recent threats of tariffs on branded drugs produced outside the United States. The administration made it clear, without agreements to build and invest domestically, companies could face significant penalties. Pfizer's move, therefore, can also be seen as a response to those pressures. Their CEO even acknowledged that tariff threats played a role in motivating the deal. That detail adds a layer of strategy to the story. Was this mainly about lowering prices? Or was it also about avoiding new costs from tariffs? In reality, it seems to be both. Finally, one must consider the broader political and historical context. For decades, politicians from both major parties have spoken about the challenge of high drug prices. Yet action has often been limited or piecemeal. This announcement is presented as a significant step toward addressing that long-standing issue. Supporters call it a win for patients and for American leadership. Critics, however, caution that without greater transparency on the full list of drugs included and the durability of discounts, it may not be the transformative shift some hope for. What makes this story so compelling is not just what has been announced, but what remains unresolved. Will TrumpRx become a widely used tool for affordable medicine, or will it remain a niche option for certain drugs? Will other companies step forward in meaningful ways? Or will the momentum stall after initial headlines fade? The answers are not yet clear, and that uncertainty drives ongoing attention. By following this story, viewers are not just watching a single policy shift. They are witnessing a larger negotiation between government, industry, and public expectations. That negotiation will likely unfold over months and years, with each new agreement or setback revealing more about how power and pressure shape the cost of healthcare in America. This is why the story remains so engaging. It blends immediate benefits like possible drug discounts with broader questions about the future of the entire healthcare system. So while the launch of TrumpRx and the Pfizer agreement may look like a single announcement today, it represents the opening of a much bigger chapter. And as details continue to surface, every new piece of information will help us understand whether this is a temporary fix or the beginning of lasting change. Keeping an eye on these developments is not just informative. It's essential for anyone who cares about the cost of healthcare and the direction of pharmaceutical policy in the United States.